our friend Shahid, joining directly from UAE. He's talking some of the data-related stories towards Carrefour, and then we talk about Adidas and few other companies. So welcome, Shahid. Over to you.
I heard a lot of interesting discussions. And I think coming up, or basically as a follow up of the discussion that recently just happened, it's all about the data. And at the end of the day, as a business, if you have the data, you want to provide that personalized, what we call omni-channel experience. But as a business, you want to make sure that it has an impact on your profitability, on your revenue. So how does SAP can help you to deliver the outcomes for businesses within what we call the B2C space. So as an example, as already mentioned, was Adidas. And I was very interested to hear in the first panel discussion, Disney came up as an example. It's one of our customers that we have been working with a lot. And if I knew that that was coming up, I was more than happy to show them. So also Adidas and Disney as in a similar kind of, let's say, entertainment business, fashion business, they have a lot of customer data. And which the challenge that most of the customers have is, okay, how can I use that data to personalize the engagement with my customers? And at the end of the day, how can I use that data to increase my revenue? And with Adidas, if you know Runtastic, it's one of the mobile applications. They're using it globally. It's an application where you can have specific workouts and you can manage your workouts. You see the statistics around your workouts. And the whole idea of Adidas is how can we get people motivated to sport more? And at the end of the day, of course, is when you sport more, you need gear, you need outfits, you need shoes, and that's what, of course, what Adidas is selling to their customers. So what we have been doing with them and how we have been working with them is how are we able to consolidate all the customer data that they have. And if you talk about their customer database, they're talking around 90 plus million customers globally that are using the mobile application across different countries. So they had the big challenge of getting all the data into one single database, but also being able to provide that one-to-one personalized interaction engagement across all different touch points with the main things bringing or driving the channel agnostic customer centric personalized campaigns across mobile, which is the main channel, but also across email. If you look at the numbers that they have been taking out of the solution, so we are sending out as of today more than 8 million personalized messages per month across all the different customers that they have, based on their personal behavior through the mobile application. So there's a huge amount of increased customers who have been able to, again, at the end of the day, buy something from Adidas while using the app because they needed the gear for it. I have a video to explain a little bit of how Adidas has been using the platform to use all the data to provide a personalized experience.
I'm Adi Dudash, Head of CRM at Adidas Fantastic. And me and my team are working hard to communicate to our users, engage them, and keep them motivated to use our apps. We are working with MRCs for more than 5 years by now, so we communicate to our users with MRCs as a tool. We are trying to engage our users with user journeys, so basically guiding them through their sport and fitness journey. On the top of that, we can also use multiple channels, so we have the email and also the mobile channels covered. And what we try to achieve together to actually drive innovation to these channels and help the marketers to use the platform as easily as possible.
So if you take a step back on how we work and how we help customers, and this terminology has been used a lot in the previous discussion. I think there were some really great discussions, and I really loved some of the examples that has been brought up. So when we talk about omni-channel personalization, I heard the terminology hyper-personalization. These are all of those the terminologies that a lot of brands and the market is using these days. If you break it down to, if you want to reach that level where you provide that omni-channel personalization, there are a couple of key factors that you have to think of as a brand. And what we have seen with all the customers that we have been working with, specifically a lot in the retail business, but also in the entertainment business and the fashion business in specific. So when we talk about omni-channel personalization, the first thing that you have to think about is the customer centricity. And it has been said already by a lot of the speakers, is you need to have that single place around your customers. You need to have that database where all the information from the customers are coming in. That is that statistic information, but also a lot of the behavioral information. That information is the foundation for us to understand, is this customer likely to convert? Because at the end of the day, you want to increase the revenue, right? So you want to make sure that who are the customers are likely to convert and who are the customers are likely to churn at the other side, but also who are the customers who are active or inactive. Using a lot of the AI capabilities which are available in the market helps you to really also to understand what are the predictions from a revenue perspective. This is one of the key areas that we are focusing on. So customer centricity. So here is an example on the screen. So you see, for example, we hold information around the customer that's where we know that this is a customer that is likely to buy something from me. We also know what are the products he's likely to buy from me. Based on all his historical data, we can also, based on historical data, we can start tell you what is the lifetime value of this customer. What are the affinity of this affinity products for this customer? What are the products that he has been looking at the different touch points that you provide as a brand? Is it online or the mobile? We track all of that information where we can use that information to provide that holistic view of that customer. And we can even tell you like what is the best time to send him an email to be effective in your, let's say, for example, in your email campaign. That is all data that just brings the rate of being effective for your engagement to drive more revenue becomes just much higher if you use all of those techniques in the right way. The second one that is also very important to mention is if you know everything about the customer, you need to be able to engage with that customer across all the different touch points. So either, of course, the standard things, as I have already heard today, email, SMS, mobile, but also things like offline you have to think about. So how can you bring the offline world closer to the online world? And I heard the story around Kadi, which is pretty interesting. And these are which are the matured retail brands are really looking at. How can I drive more traffic online, but also how can I drive more traffic from online to offline in some areas of the globe where that is needed? So that having that channel agnostic, being channel agnostic is very important. So that is one thing that you also have to look at, being able to touch based on the journey of the customer across all the different touch points, as I already mentioned, offline and online, like clienteling, POS, but also online, but also through SMS or the chat or through a customer service desk. The third one that you also have to look at is being contextual. And being contextual is basically means you need to be able where the customer is in his user journey. Either it's across the app or it's online or offline. The idea here is that you want to be able to provide the information, relevant information to the customer in the moment where he probably is most likely to churn or most likely is probably to buy from you. Being able to play in the moment is a critical success factor when it comes to personalized or omni-channel customer engagement. This is just an example where we have a lot of the user journeys that you have to predefine, but every user journey has what we call has different ways how a customer could go. And based on every interaction the customer does, you need to have a reaction that you can do with the platform that you're using. And this needs to be able to, you need to be able to do that in real time, and it needs to be scalable, as I mentioned, especially if you have a huge amount of customer database. And the system needs to be able to act on that in that real-time kind of engagement. The last one is around content. So if you do have everything around the customer, you can engage them through the channel. You can connect with them with the context in real time. At the end of the day, you want to send them that personalized content. So that's what we have been discussing. What I heard from all the panelists is at the end of the day, you want to send him that personalized recommendation. Could be around the product affinity, the loyalty personalization, product recommendation, replenishment of products. Anything around the content is critical. And this is an example of that. So if you, for example, send out an email as a marketeer, it's not good enough anymore to just send an email with his personalized name on top of the email. So when you go one step further and you really want to be in an omni-channel personalized interaction, you want to be able to basically customize the whole content. That could be things that you see here on the screen, like things like geolocation, based on where the customer has been buying from you, and show that within the email in this example. But also things like the personalized product recommendations based on customer behavior previously, etc., etc. So this is the last component that is critical to have in place when we look at hyper-personalization or being able to reach customers in a personalized way. As an example, to show you what other customers have been doing, one of the big customers that are using our platform, and this comes very close to what Kadi has been mentioning, is they had the same struggle of how can we bring online and offline together, and how can we drive more traffic from offline to online, and how do we recognize customers who are coming to the store, and how can we, once they go to online, how do we recognize them, and how can we treat them in a personalized way based on the knowledge that we know about the customer. So City Beach in Australia, they're one of the fashion brands over there. So they have been using the platform to have the holistic view of that customer, being able to identify the customers in store, using a lot of the barcodes in emails. So that was their strategy, is providing customers promotions through email, personalized promotions with barcodes. So once they step into the store, once they're using the barcodes, you can identify the customers, but you can also think about loyalty programs, etc., to be able to do that. And the other things that they have been able to do is using a lot of the AI capabilities within the platform to basically optimize the return on investment on ads that they do on social media. So how can we push, again, the relevant information, the relevant promotions to the set of customers where we believe that they are most likely to buy that specific product? And you see some of the key metrics that they got out of the solution is just using the platform, they have been able to basically increase the churning from the customer, from active customers specifically, and they have seen a big increase in online revenue and offline or in-store revenue based on using that optimized omni-channel personalized engagement. As an example, I would love to show them their video where they explain a little bit what they have been doing with the tool itself.
So currently we're looking at like 1.4 million contacts with our database and growing. Obviously our legacy system wasn't fulfilling what we want. It was basically just batch and blast email.
The main challenge that we faced was data inconsistency. We basically didn't really know what sort of data we had on our customer. We were sending to inactive customers. We weren't following marketing best practices. We couldn't actually track how our marketing materials were actually contributing to revenue growth.
And then we had some major technical issues with the actual implementation. The tool itself came with very little included, so every time we had to do something else, we had to pay an implementation partner.
So we were able to implement a masters in 3 months, and that's basically sending email. So what we were looking was to scale not just by sending emails, because granted that's what a master can do very, very well, but we want it also as a single marketing solution that we can scale in things like personalization through AI, things like send time optimization. We are doing a reactivation retention piece through AI as well. Another thing was to scale through retail solution, which is say importing things like offline sales file, foot traffic as well. We have foot traffic coming from in-store, that data coming in. So really one place where we can centralize that data. Implementing AI for us was very quick. It was a perfect fit for our retention reactivation activity because AI was able to determine where people were shopping or churning or defecting at a one-to-one level at particular time intervals.
What we've been able to do is sign up for a platform that's been more than just what we bought on day one. It's continued to innovate, it's continued to deliver us value. After implementing AI with Amarsis, we saw, I think it was about $250,000 increase in revenue, which was about 40% in-store, 60% online. So that's really strong for us. That means that we were really able to connect up with that in-store customer, which was really one of the missions. And then one of the most interesting data points for me was the fact that we really saved about 48% of those customers from really falling off of our journey. Re-engaged those guys, got them back into active status, and that meant that we could actually start to generate some revenue from them.
So Amasis has helped us with a single solution for our marketing automations. They've also helped us shift from looking at our operational metrics to more strategic metrics that actually impact the business objectives.
So as a last example that I would love to bring up, that is Carrefour. I think everyone knows Carrefour. And in the region, Carrefour is led by Majid Al Futtaim, who is owning the Carrefour brand across the Middle East region and also in Pakistan. One of the things that we have been working with them in the last 4 years is to really digitalize the whole online experience that they have. And again, online and offline, bring it together, providing the holistic view of that customer, provide, of course, the online channel where the orders can be happening on mobile or digital. And they use it not only for selling their own products, they also use it as a marketplace. So what you will see on Carrefour, for example, is they sell a lot of other products which are not their own. They onboard new partners to their platform, and they sell that on their platform. One of the things that we really have been focusing on is, okay, how can we collect all of that data based on the behavior of the customer, historical buying data, and use that information across the journey within the customer. So if you look at the mobile application, and if you use the mobile application or the web, you can open up and buy basically everything. But you see here things like we have a full profile of the customer. Just to give you an idea, is the system knows, or in the backend we know exactly, of course, what you have been buying. We know exactly what are the top products from your favorite category based on your historical data. We know exactly what you have been looking for in the search, and we can basically push relevant or related information on that. We know what you have been buying previously, and we can basically provide you suggestions that can help, again, at the end of the day, to increase the basket size. So across the whole journey within the application, you will see different touch points where we do product upsell, cross-sell based on the customer data, historical information that we have about the customer. So that is just a short example that we have with Carrefour, where we are using them. I want to thank you for your time. I will leave it for here. Unfortunately, there are no opportunities to ask any question, but I'm available anytime. If anyone has anything that he would love to discuss with me, I'm more than happy to do that anytime. Thank you very much.